Hey y'all, I'm Isaiah, and you can call me Isaiah. I'm going to be your teacher this summer at Summer Bridge, and we're going to be learning a lot about literature. Just to give you a little bit about myself, I'm a second-year student at UC Berkeley. I study gender and women's studies and education, so this is kind of like my thing. I'm pretty interested in it. And my pronouns are he and him. I'm from Richmond, and I think that's about it. That's about me. So if you could just go around the room and tell me a little bit about yourself, that'd be really cool. Today we're just going to learn about a tool that can really help you understand reading and analyzing and really just understanding literature. So just want to take a quick hand. How many of you have ever read a book or a poem or any piece of literature that you really had a hard time understanding? Okay, me too. So this tool I find really, really helpful. I used it all throughout high school. I also use it now today in college to help me reference some of the poetry and literature that I read. So basically it's called a Q, A-Q-C. But I'm first just going to go over each letter and we can go over it together. So the first one is the quote. And basically when you're reading, you might want to just highlight. I don't know if you highlight or take notes or annotate. But while you're reading, you just want to highlight and get a quote. The next letter is going to be the A, which is going to be your argument. And your argument is pretty much going to elaborate on your quote. So your quote, like I said, is going to kind of give you like a glimpse of what the author is arguing. And this part of the QAQC is going to be explaining that argument based on your quote. So they kind of go together. The next letter is the next Q, which is your question. And this is my favorite part just because, like I said earlier, we have a little bit of trouble sometimes understanding what we're reading. We have a lot of questions. So sometimes I use this section to just write words that I've never heard of before, words that I've never seen, I don't know what they mean, I can go back to them later. And also just a question for the author themselves. Like, what does this mean? Why is this not explained? Your last one is going to be the C, which is the connection. The connection is pretty much making a connection to this reading to previous readings that you read in the past. Something that I use to kind of remember the QAQC and what this means is quilts are quite comfy. So if we can all say that together, so on three, if you want to, just so we can help remember it. So I just do like a 4 clap. So quilts are quite comfy. We can do it together. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Quilts are quite comfy. Okay, so now we're going to put it into practice. I have a reading, or a poem, I guess you could say, by an author by the name of Gary Soto. Well, does anyone come up with the quote that they chose and point it out to me? What about the argument? What do you think that these quotes that were just said are arguing about this text? What is the author trying to get across? Then what questions do you have based on the quote and the argument that we've come up with? And maybe some possible answers that we can come up together as a class for those questions. But as for the connection, what things do you see that are similar within this poem and this experience within maybe your own lives? Movies, television, other books, other stories that you've read, or maybe narratives that you've heard. If you look at all this, what we've done, obviously I wasn't able to write down the full quote that Sean gave, or an in-depth argument that's about 45 sentences on the chapter, but you can see we have a lot of information here that we can work with. And if you're ever having trouble with a reading, you can literally take a step back from it, do a QAQC, and look back over it, and you have all this information that you didn't have before, which is the point. And all these things are pretty much working to give you context about what you're reading. Like here, we're putting things into context by connecting it to ourselves. And here we're asking questions about things that we don't understand. We're making it larger than the reading. We're centering our arguments so we know what it's about. And also we've come up with a quote to help us identify the reading and also complement our argument. So if you ever are having trouble doing a literary analysis on a poem or any piece of literature, a specific chapter, sometimes we do it from chapter to chapter, poem to poem, this is really, really helpful tool to have. So I hope this was really helpful, and I will see y'all after lunch.